Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching. Welcome to another episode of Coaching for Coaches. I'm your host, Miles, founder of Master Coach Certified Elite Performance Coaching. So today is a bit of a Q&A episode. There's a question I've been asked a few times, and I thought I would just give my my perspective on it. Before I give you my take and perspective on this question, which is, what is the difference between coaching and therapy? I want to kind of stress that I am a trained coach, but not a trained therapist. But I have had coaching myself and have also had therapy. So anything I say is really up for and open for debate. I'm actually the kind of person that believes you should put a disclaimer on every video that says nothing is right, nothing is wrong. Very little in life is actually factual. And most people that say their way is the way ultimately are just making stuff up. So I thought I would start by saying that in case there's anybody here who I offend at any point if I tell them something that they say that's not true. The Institute of Therapy says. So I just want to stress before I start spouting my mouth that whatever I say is really just my opinion. There's a saying I love. One of my mentors always used to say, Miles, opinions are like arseholes. Everybody's got one. So what I'm about to say is arguably not worth its weight in gold. So you're now probably going, well, why should I watch this video? Well, I kind of feel that it is important to have a conversation about the difference between these two things, because I think there is a real significant difference. So let me just get into it. So if you're watching live, by the way, let me know. Give me a like, or I see some likes, I see some hearts, I see some comments. But for me, if I kind of share with you my, I guess my perspective, the difference between coaching and therapy for me, the simple answer for me is coaching. I really first discovered coaching from the likes of Tony Robbins, and I just listened to some Tony Robbins this morning. For me, coaching is really about the future and the present moment. For me, coaching is really about helping a person get really clear about where they are now and where they really want to be or get to. Coaching is about goal attainment, achievement, getting clarity, raising your standards, upgrading yourself, achievement, introspection. I think coaching is really about the art of asking people questions so that they can go inside. People often say, Miles, what's the difference in coaching and mentoring? And I say, well, I think a mentor shows you the way, whereas a coach helps you find the way within. I feel that it's important to have a mentor and a coach, but I've been guilty in the past of getting a mentor before having a coach. And here's the problem with that. The problem for me with having a mentor before a coach is the mentor will tell you what to do, go this way, this is the way. But if you're not clear on your own values and what's important to you, you might arrive at a destination and you didn't want to go there. So let's pretend that the mentor says you should go snowboarding, and you haven't established what kind of holiday you like. And then you go snowboarding, you realize you hate it because it's too much adrenaline. And you then like, well, what I really wanted was just to sit on my backside and relax. And then the mentor would say, oh, well, what you really need is a week in Barbados, right? So unless you first know what you want, you could arrive at a destination that wasn't where you wanted to go. Anyway, we've not come here to talk about coaching and mentoring. We've come to talk about coaching and therapy. So for me, coaching is really about forward and now. So if you're not clear on how to arrive at your goals, then a coach is really good for that, because a coach is going to really help you really extract out all your values, all your beliefs, what's really important to you in the here and now. And then in conjunction with, say, a mentor, a coach can help you kind of get clear on where you want to go. Therapy for me is different. There's some crossover, some crossover. For me, therapy is more about the now and the past. So for me, I've had therapy. I've had some therapy. In fact, at the time of doing this video, I've had some therapy over the past few months. Some old emotional triggers that have just kind of reactivated themselves. I've had some therapy over the past few months. And for me, therapy, if you talk about the traditional form of psychotherapy, which sounds really intense, but really, if you look at the dictionary definition of that, it's talk therapy. And the real power of talk therapy is you're just talking out what you're feeling. But you especially get the opportunity, if it's a good therapist, to talk out and reframe some experiences from the past that you might have an emotional trigger or charge activated to. So for me, I've had some emotional charges that were activated. By having therapy, it's helped to deactivate them. It's helped to take the emotion out. Because here's the thing, a lot of our emotional reactions are not actually related to the present moment. So if somebody in the here and now pisses you off, what's happening at a construct level is they're activating an emotional trigger that's been inside you since way back when, and that has been sparked because they've reminded you of something that happened in your past. Maybe a teacher spoke to you similar way, parent maybe spoke to you similar way, pet or relative, whoever, someone pissed you off earlier in life, and now this new person is that person reincarnated, right? It's why sometimes people have a relationship, then they get into another one that's similar and they face the same problems. The reason that happens is because they've not deactivated the old emotional trigger. So they basically brought themselves from years ago into a new relationship. It's why I often say to people, our mind is like a computer. And as such, we have software that needs updating. And we sometimes download stuff that we shouldn't from the internet. If you're illegally streaming movies like me, please don't judge me. So we need to update our software, right? And so for me, therapy is a really good way to update the software. It's a really good way to reframe the past. You learn that in neurolinguistic programming about reframing. Reframing is looking at an experience that happened years ago and changing the way you look at it. If you've ever seen the movie Back to the Future, you'll know that the big theme of the movie is they meddle with the past, don't they? They meddle with the past and the future. Marty, something's got to be done about your kids. It's all about meddling. And the more they meddle, the more they mess stuff up. Therapy, however, doesn't do that. Therapy might bring up some wounds, but eventually therapy will help to heal and it will help to deactivate those emotional triggers. So for me, the way to know the difference is therapy now and past, coaching now and future. So for you watching this video, if you any of that resonates with you, that hopefully gives you an indication as to whether you need coaching or therapy. So if you've got if you're aware that you've got limiting beliefs, you might need some form of therapy. If you've got some limiting beliefs, because limiting beliefs are like the viruses that are downloaded from the internet. So you might need some therapy. And if you're not clear about how to, oh, Miles, I really want to build a coaching business, but I don't know how, that's what you need a coach and a mentor for. Yeah. But at the same time, if you've got fear around, oh, but I'm scared to do a Facebook Live, or I'm scared to do this video, that's probably what therapy can help you with. But there's crossover, yeah. So it's definitely not a, which one should I have? Personally, I'm a big believer in having both, and I don't think actually, from my experience, it really does any harm to have both at the same time. Like there was a period a few months ago I had therapy and coaching. I think I had therapy, I remember, on a Monday afternoon, and then a session with my coach on Tuesday morning. Definitely not a problem. There'll be some conversational overlap, but for me, one of the real powers of talk therapy is it really works the muscle of talking your emotions. So the better you get at that, if you are a coach, one of my coaching mentors, Rich Litvin, would say, you can only take a client as deep as you've been yourself. So I love that saying, because if you think about scuba diving, if you're familiar with it, if you're not, I'll give you some context. But in scuba diving, I'm not a scuba diver, but they get these things called paddies. And depending on the level of paddy they've got, forgive me if you're a scuba diver and I'm getting this completely wrong, depending on the level of paddy they've got will depend on how deep, the depth of the water that they can take the students. So it's a bit like that with coaching. It's like the amount of emotional healing and work that you've done on yourself, you can't take the client that you coach any deeper than you've gone yourself. So if you've got stuff from your past and you haven't fixed it, you need to fix that. If you really want to transform your clients, you got to fix that, because then otherwise you can't take them any further than that. For me, I had to learn the business of coaching to be able to and actually master that and actually get good at that, getting clients and stuff, to be able to teach it. And there was a point a few years ago, I wasn't good at that. I wasn't good at marketing, didn't really know how to easily, effortlessly get people on the phone for a trailer. So I had to learn that. And then when I learned it, then I can start to teach it. So that's it for this video. I hope you found this useful. Again, like I said at the beginning, really up for debate. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying that's just my opinion on the difference between coaching and therapy. So that's it for today. I hope you found the video useful. Like and share if you feel relevant. Peace out. See you next time. Goodbye.